In an armed robbery, either comply or fight. Don't be caught in the middle. Hi everyone, it's John with today's active self-protection lesson from Tucker, Georgia. It's an armed robbery there that doesn't go well for the victim. Teaches us some important lessons about compliance and about half-hearted resistance. Also reminds us of how fast an armed robbery can come upon us in a transitional space. This clerk here is just kind of paying attention to his phone or whatever, and you can see these guys come in and he's like, hey man, I don't want any problem. And what we're gonna see is 3 armed robbers come in. So the first guy comes in, points a gun at him. Second guy, third guy now has a gun in his face. And this guy's kind of, swatting at the guns. Hey man, don't mess with me, don't mess with me. Now, it's kind of hard to see this first time through, but there's actually a gun just to the left of the register. So he's like, hey man, I'm gonna get you the stuff. And these guys are like, hey man, give me your things. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. So he gets pistol whipped there because he's not really resisting, but not really complying. And now you're gonna see him look and decide to go for that gun. And when he does, he's gonna get shot 1, 2, 3, 4 times, including twice in the head, once through his mouth. And as soon as they shoot him, they're gonna run off. Now, if you read the news story in the description, he actually made it through that and was able to walk to the stretcher when the ambulance shows up. He goes to call him right there. Let's go back and learn some lessons out of this one. There are 8 on our website, like always. First one here is that reaction initially. You see him kind of reach out to paw against that gun. I can't tell you enough. Half-hearted resistance is a great way to get shot. Either completely comply and look for your opportunity, feign compliance, or resist with everything you have. Now, in this instance here, I don't think resistance was his right choice in this instance, especially at this time, because he's got multiple guys with guns on him, man. You got 3 guys with firearms pointed at you, kind of pawing at the gun like this. Great way to get pistol whipped and a great way to get shot. Instead, just comply. Okay, bro, whatever you want, man. I don't want to get in a fight with you. I'm going to give you everything you want, because otherwise you're going to get shot by these guys, and it's exactly what's going to happen. Now, we know he has a firearm at the desk at this point, but thankfully the armed robbers don't. But right there you see him start to look for it. He decides at this point, I'm going to go get my gun and fight these guys. But the problem with that at this point is that they are paying attention to him. They have the drop on him, and you can't draw a gun against the drop. It's a great reason not to have a gun, in the counter, but instead to have it on your person. You can see it in his hand right there. He's just trying to get it up and get that gun over and onto the armed robber. And if you read the news story, he says he shot twice at the guy, but he didn't hit him because that guy shot him first. And his gun went off twice, but the armed robbers went off 4 times, and he shot him 4 times. Finally, on this one especially, thankfully the victim made it, but you want to work on your first aid skills. You got to have some self-care skills to get those bullet wounds patched up as best you can while you're waiting for the ambulance, so that you got some blood volume to get to the hospital okay. All in all, some real difficult lessons out of this one. Thankfully, the victim made it. But let's learn when to defend ourselves. Let's learn whether to defend ourselves. Keep our tools on our person if we can, so that we're first in the fight and cover our asp.